Hey, it's Brian from the Disability Digest here, and you are about to listen to an interview that I had with the member Jim that has graciously offered some of his time to help all of our members out there understand how you could move gradually back into volunteering, part-time work, supplementing your Social Security disability income and keeping your benefits. And Jim has done this successfully for a while at a Center for Independent Living in his local area. And these organizations exist throughout the United States. At the end of this video, I'll be back and give you a tutorial how you can contact your local center. So regardless if you're looking to supplement or volunteer, there's other value that you may get from this interview with Jim because you might be in need of some of their services. They help in finding housing, low-cost, no-cost treatment, fuel assistance, other financial resources that they have available at the Center for Independent Living. So point is, if you are in need of any of those services, you'll find out how to contact them at the end of this video. Enjoy the conversation with Jim. Thanks.
Good day, this is Brian Tarian from the Disability Digest here, and I have a longtime Disability Digest member, James Calloway, with me. James has been a member since December 15th of 2013. Thank you, Jim. I asked Jim to spend a few minutes today to share his experience with working, volunteering at his local Center for Independent Living. And the reason why I have done this is there are many out there that would like to volunteer, many that would like to understand what it would be like to get into a situation where they have a few hours a day that are on a fixed schedule to see how their condition or conditions would allow them to perform. So maybe they could build on that into something to go back to work. So Jim, thanks for taking a few minutes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me, how long have you been doing this, this type of work?
For the CIL,
yeah,
I started this last year in March.
Last
year.
year.
It's been almost a year.
Okay, good for you. Yep. And about how many hours is a typical, it doesn't have to be your experience, but how many hours would you say the structure is that you are, should I refer to it as volunteering or working, or what's best?
I'm working.
Okay.
I work because I'm on SSDI.
Yep.
I work 20 hours a week. I work 5 hours a day. We discussed 4 hours a day. I'm sorry, 4 days a week.
Okay.
I work 20 hours a week at 5 hours a day, whatever it is. And I discussed it with the executive director, and they're very, they work with you. They're very easy to work with.
Yep, yep. And so for everybody listening out there, the CIL is Center for Independent Living, and they exist in every nook and cranny throughout the United States. Jim is in Pennsylvania. I'm in Vermont. I know there's 6 in Vermont, and we're a small state of 600 and something thousand. So this opportunity exists everywhere. So what was it like to go, the transition, do you have any tips for people, Jim, for transitioning back into, part-time work? Was there an adjustment for you?
There wasn't really much of an adjustment. They were very accommodating, and they just discussed my strengths and weaknesses, and and there's different opportunities. I do peer mentoring, is just basically talking to people like myself you know, who have issues and questions and helping them out. And I do some advocacy for them. But I've done similar work most of my life, so it really wasn't that much of a transition.
Yeah, yeah. Jim, could you give the audience like a condensed version of the types of services that the Centers for Independent Living provide?
Okay. There are 5 basic services that we provide. They are advocacy, peer mentoring, skills provide skills, life skills training, and 2 more that I can't think of off the top of my head. But if you look for a skill in your area, they should have a website that'll tell you what they do.
Yep.
Our biggest request that we have is people needing accommodated housing.
Yes.
And we do referrals, so we would send out applications. Now, we deal with some people who can't fill out the application, so I will help them over the phone. On occasion, we'll go out to their location. And that's not a requirement, that's just what we do, to go the extra mile to help them fill the application out.
Very nice.
Sometimes they need food. We'll tell them where they can call to get food, or they need clothing, or they need medical services. And we look all this up. You can find it all on the internet. Yep. And if I don't know something, I just ask one of my associates, and they will help me out. So we all work together as a team to work for our consumers.
Jim, this is a little off topic perhaps, but the housing is, we here at the Disability Digest rely on the Centers for Independent Living across the U.S. to address this very issue, and they've done a good job at it. But I mean, is it on the degree of difficulty? Where does housing fit? Is it difficult? Is it realistic to find people places to live?
We can find them. The problem is the waiting list.
Yeah.
And I don't know the rest of the country, but here where I am, about 90% of the places there's a waiting list. I've heard them as long as 2 years.
Oh boy.
I work with one that I found that has a waiting list as short as 3 months. They're the best one I've found.
Okay.
And then we look for independent landlords as well. But housing is really difficult because I'm looking primarily for low rent or subsidized rent. And that's tough right now because real estate, they want, the rent is just outrageous for people like us with low income.
Right. Yeah, low or fixed income, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Now, do you have any tips for people that are interested in pursuing a position like you in their local Center for Independent Living? How would they go about it?
I would call them up, maybe go and visit with them, meet the people, talk to them, get to be friends with them. I've known them for years before I actually started working for them.
Okay. That's a great idea. Yep. And for those of you that are listening to this out there somewhere in Disability Digest land, there will be a link around this wonderful conversation with Jim that will direct you to your local Center for Independent Living. So that's good. And is there like any challenges that people are going to face that if they know about it in advance might be helpful, might help them out?
Any challenges would be whatever the local still has going on. But the still, they're, they were created and they are required to have over 50% employees who are disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very familiar with working with people with challenges.
Yep.
Now, right now with pandemic effect, most of us are working from home, and they supplied the computers.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, that's very nice. I like it a lot.
Okay. Okay. Good.
And I think even when we come back full time, I'll be able to work from home 90% of the time.
All right. All right. Jim, one other question comes to mind. Are there just straight volunteer opportunities at SILS, or is everybody?
For the most part, everybody is employed. We do have people who do volunteer work on occasion,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing really steady.
Okay.
I believe they'd be open to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be things to help us out because there at our center there is an office. There's typically like to the pandemic 3 people in there at any one time,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of paperwork filing and things of that nature.
Okay.
And that if anyone wanted to help out with that, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But call your local center and see if they have local volunteer opportunities, because they very well might.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anything else you can think of? Any other words of advice?
Just keep your spirits up. And if you're going to be working there, it's very important because everyone's stressed out. Well, not stressed out, but they're dealing with people who are stressed out, and you don't want to add to that. You know, be friendly and open to whatever you can do.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I think about our work here, Jim, that we do, and when we refer people to centers for independent living, they commonly have housing needs, so they might not have a place to live. They're definitely stressed out. The other service that we rely on is they are commonly in tune with low-cost, no-cost treatment options in the area, clinics, hospitals, etc. So, so that's good. So just a few reflecting back on some of the key points that I thought were really good is that, of course, find your local center for independent living, and all disability applicants and recipients, in my opinion, should be in contact to understand the services that they can take advantage of themselves, and then look to give back. So get to know them, right? That was a key thing. I thought that was great. And then, you could ask about volunteering, or perhaps they have positions that are open. That's wonderful. So, Jim, listen, I really appreciate taking time out of your day to do this, help make a difference for other people, and what you do in your job, making a difference for others. So thank you for that.
Hope you enjoyed the conversation with Jim. To get help and contact your local Center for Independent Living below this video, or around it if it's not below, you'll see a link that will say Center for Independent Living, and it will bring you to the page that's up on the screen. So if you go into that page, a few things. You can get help with the resources that are mentioned on the left there, and then you want to click the green button, and the green button will bring you to a page like this, which is a directory where you can find your local Center for Independent Living. Now, they exist everywhere in every nook and cranny. I'm in a small little state of Vermont, and when you click on the state, you'll see the map. And as Jim mentioned in his interview, these are organizations that are government funded, and they are run in large part, like 50% of them are run by disability recipients. So they understand how to work with you and help you with your schedule and how much money you can make and keep your benefits and all of that. So when you go into your state, you'll see that there's all of the red dots there, and then you just want to scroll down and look at the one that's closest to you. Or like in my area, if I click on it, it says Vermont Center for Independent Living in Burlington. So I want to scroll down and find the one that matches that title. And that's simply it. Reach out to them, contact them. If you have any questions about how to do this or other tips, join us in the comments. Either myself or perhaps somebody else can give you some guidance on how you can go and make this a success for you. Make it a great day. Hope you find it helpful. Thanks.